which is yesterday, an estimated number of 527 Ghanaian nationals had crossed the Ukrainian border to various European countries, and they will soon be with us in Ghana as long as they are willing to be evacuated, and it will be at no cost to them. I say that because there are some who have indicated that they do not wish to come back home. So after a couple of days, they will be on their own, because government cannot cover those people forever. What we are covering is to bring them to a safe place, which is bring them back home, as many of you parents have indicated that you want your children back home. So government will do that. The breakdown is as follows. In Prague, 49 Ghanaians, including one child, there's one student who has a 4-year-old, were received by the diplomatic mission and are waiting to be processed for departure to Ghana. In Slovakia, 25 Ghanaians arrived and on their way to Prague to be received by a diplomatic mission. In Romania, 134 Ghanaians were received by an official of the Prague diplomatic mission and are awaiting relevant processes for departure to Ghana. This morning from Romania, the 16 of our students arrived. They had arrived on Saturday, I believe, so we're able to process them quickly, get them tickets to come. They arrived this morning, and tomorrow a few others, quite a number of them, will also leave. 81 Ghanaians have arrived in Poland. 221 have arrived at the border in Hungary and are on their way to the city of Budapest. The government of Ghana is ready to evacuate all the 527 of our citizens in a coordinated manner. The 527 of them who are in our custody or we are in touch with. Indeed, it is heartwarming that out of the numbers mentioned, the first batch of 17, I've said it already, arrived this morning by Qatar Airlines. 2 other batches from Romania in different groups of 70 and 64 respectively are expected to arrive later on this week. We expect those who are in Poland at the moment, a total of 16, to arrive also in the coming days. Ladies and gentlemen, following further information received regarding the spread of our compatriots across various borders of the neighboring countries of Ukraine, I have directed our diplomatic missions in Berlin and Vienna to send officers to other border towns of Ukraine to augment the staff strength in the evacuation exercise. I wish to reiterate that government has put in place the necessary package to facilitate transportation, accommodation, feeding, medical support to ease the burden on our people. I therefore appeal to relatives of our compatriots gathered here to recognize the precarious circumstances that our compatriots face and the need to encourage them to take advantage of this evacuation exercise to return to Ghana. Why am I saying so? For those of them who think that this is an opportunity for them to enter into Europe, Europe is not safe, not because there is war extended to Europe, but the immigration services are very alert. And the last thing we want is for any student or any Ghanaian entering into a country only to be arrested. At least what government is doing, which is to offer to bring them back, is with the greatest respect, parents and families, is at least taking some burden off you, so that in the future, when things calm down and life returns to normal, you can send your children back. Once again, I wish to express my gratitude to missions and honorary consuls who have worked closely with the ministry to ensure the desired outcomes.
Difficulties here and there, and I know the Foreign Ministry has not undertaken anything of this sort, and therefore I agree that mistakes or difficulties that arise are pardonable. However, my suggestion again is there should be a training or consideration of emergency response management. If we talk about NABU, nobody should be offended, but we haven't seen an actual emergency response evacuation before. They go after the distance to distribute mattress. That is not emergency response evacuation. And this topic of emergency response scheme must be incorporated into the Foreign Ministry and all other emergency responders in the country. I'm sorry, that is not a very strong area for our endeavor, and therefore I'm pleading that that is taken seriously into this thing. I worked lastly before I went on retirement with a multinational mining company, and therefore emergency response was one of the areas I was instructing people on. And I know that even if you learn how to do it, it requires that you train, you do practices and all those. Still, there are opportunities to go wrong. And therefore, I'm suggesting emergency response, evacuation, and all the rest is very important for the nation. Let us not wait. Apiati happened, boom, like that. There wasn't any evacuation, but let us prepare for all situations. Thank you very much.
How is she going to get help since she's a Ukrainian national, but we have a daughter together? I hope you understand my case here, because we are all talking about Ghanaians, but foreign nationals who are directly related to Ghanaian nationals. And then one other thing, as a medical doctor, I know that this whole thing is also going to cause an uptick in COVID-19 cases. So how are we going to handle that as they travel back into Ghana? Thank you.
I think most of my questions have been answered, but what I want to put across as parents, as parents, as parents, that if you study the geography of Ukraine, Poland, Slovakia, it's a very fast place. And so these things that we're talking about is very, very serious. So as parents, what I did with the son there was to counsel him about. But we were just talking and talking, we didn't land. So I have to come in and counsel him in such a way that before I landed, he said he was okay. And so as the government is preparing and then making arrangements to bring them home, the best way is that we should counsel them to come home, because the situation there is very, very terrible. And then, when situation comes like this, according to cognitive psychology, you should make sure to program your mind in such a way that you'll be able to go to places that you can even not go. So that was what I was doing with him, and as I came here, he was very, very calm. So I told him now, I'm speaking to people to see how he can connect somewhere. But the arrangement they are making, I think, will help us. So as parents, let's talk to them, counsel them, coach them, that the situation is not as easy as we are talking.
I have paid for a ticket. I will not pay for a ticket when I know that government is making the ticket free of charge. I don't think I will go ahead to make payment if there is ticket available. They are four around and they all seem not to have any idea. So if that is the arrangement, then I suggest you let that information reach the Pentecost people who are accommodating and feeding the people, so that whoever they must contact, they can do so for the free tickets to be available to our friends who are there. My second issue also has to do with what some of my earlier parents have suggested. That what happens to our people when they come back to continue their studies. I will urge the ministry, as early as possible to form a committee involving other Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and National Accreditation Board, to discuss this thing and find out what can be done. Something can be done, so that our brothers and sisters, when they come home, they can continue their education. We don't need to wait for scholarship. When we have so many universities in Ghana that can fashion out something for our friends to continue their education. I think that we should not wait. We should act now. If we form the committee now, I am very sure by 1 month's time, something can be worked out. For example, somebody who has spent 6 years, left with only 2 months to graduate, learning medicine, and all of a sudden, this wahala has happened. And we are saying that we should throw our hands in the air, and then because we made our private arrangement, I said no. The Council for the Medical Exams, they can do something to allow these people to even write their exams whilst we wait for things to normalize. Something can be done. And I urge that the ministry, as well as the other agencies of the government, work together now to help all of us.
Instances of a country that is under siege, a country that is in war, with our people caught in there. And therefore, we need, like I said, that we need to be working together. If you have issues, please let us know. And it is for that reason that we have called this dialogue, because out of this dialogue are coming issues that we need to address, that we need to pay attention to. Because we are here. Our missions are in other countries. And most Ghanaian missions are we don't have a lot of people there. Ghanaian associations and churches are helping. And so I think that we all should appreciate the difficulties within which we are working, and government's commitment to making sure that at the end of the day, we find solutions. Yes, there may be difficulties, but you are part of the solution that we are using. We are working together. And I think that when there are difficulties, you are here, let us know. You came to our office, we had meetings. And so when there are any challenges, quickly let us know so that we can address these challenges together. Because on the ground, you are probably throwing your arms around, but on the ground, it is difficult for us here and for them there. And it's difficult, even more difficult for our students, because they are in a foreign land and in a war situation. So let's not make it seem like nobody is doing anything. We all need to work together to bring this thing to a fruitful conclusion for those who want to come. And I always keep saying, for those who want to come. And I advise that many of them come, and we are working quickly. The passports that we're taking, we're getting them on flights. Unfortunately, no airline is prepared at the moment to do a charter. And so we are putting them on flights. As I speak, we are speaking, as I stand here, we are in talks with the Turkish, so that the Turkish airlines can bring them. If we get seats on Qatar, they bring them. That's what we are doing. This is an emergency situation, and therefore we are having to think out of the box. Your relatives, children who have not seen the Ghana representatives can only be across. Your relatives, children who have not seen the Ghana representatives can only be across the border. We don't even have enough staff and for them to move within Ukraine. So once they cross over, there are people there. And for those of them in Hungary, we have Mr. Kodo, who is working with us. Mr. Kodo, our honorary consul is not well. Mr. Kodo is a former honorary consul, and I'm told that he has been extremely helpful. Yesterday, I got some messages from on my phone. Immediately gave them Mr. Kodo's number. They called him, he picked up. So The children are looking for them. They are also looking to identify the children. Also, our Bern mission in Switzerland, Nanakra, were moving their women, the women and children were being allowed to leave. So it's probably the reason why. Immediately these videos started circulating, African Union and ECOWAS have issued statements. And therefore you would find that in the last couple of days, day or so, this is not so. From Lviv, we've received many students who are male students. Even in Sumi, where the male students are going to get on buses. We are working with the NUCs to assist, and they are assisting us and working with us very well. So yes, we've seen these videos, but our continental body AU has complained, and everybody now is on alert. And I myself called the Ukrainian embassy is in Abuja, to Ghana is in Abuja. I called them and spoke to them and told them that this is what we are getting, and we are seeing videos of it, and we are calling, I'm calling to complain. They assured me that this is not so, they will ensure that that doesn't happen. I'm told that because of the complaints that also we have made officially, Matilda, remind me if it's Slovakia. One of the countries, they've decided that they will go through the queues and hand-pick Ghanaians and help them to cross over. Is it Slovakia? Yes, I'm told it's Slovakia. So we are keenly watching and monitoring the situation, and if there are any more reports, we will quickly work with it. But we are people there, our embassies are actively monitoring and working to make sure that this doesn't happen. A parent talked about clinicals. What happens to them? I'm not in a position to answer that, unfortunately. Our main preoccupation is to get them out of harm's way, and that is the job of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the responsibility we have to get them out of harm's way. So once that is done, I think that it is up to the parent to now look at how best they are going to help assist their children to continue their education, whether they're going to wait until things calm down and send them back, or alternative arrangements are made for them. Several warnings, indeed. The whole world was watching on tenterhooks what was happening. It all pointed to the fact that even though the country in question was threatening, there were a lot of diplomatic efforts to stop it. And this is in reaction to the gentleman who said what kept us so long. We did not keep long. Like all other countries there, we were in touch with our compatriots there, and even a week or so, or more than a week ago, we advised that if you could, please leave. And many students left to come back home. That was not the time for government to go into evacuation mode. I think that government is doing a lot, and we must at least appreciate what is being done. We've taken the responsibility. We are not saying in any shape or form that because they are there on their own, we will leave them. Even when we receive them, we will leave them for parents to buy tickets for them. No. And I know that many of you have sent your children there privately. Only 27 are government sponsored students. But government is saying that no, as quickly as possible, we need to bring them back. It doesn't matter that they are there on their own. We know that many of the parents here can afford it to bring them back. But we said no, you just keep your money. God willing, when things die down, this is an unexpected expense. When things die down, you'll be able to send your children back. And that's exactly what a responsible government state is doing, and we are doing that. the children who are in bomb shelters, would they be evacuated? I think for now, many of the cities are either under lockdown, some are under curfew from 10 to 7 in the morning, and for some it's even dangerous to move around. So if they are in bomb shelters, we will monitor them. We will leave numbers with you. Those who are in Ukraine, already the nukes, Ukraine has circulated the numbers of our honorary consul's office. And so the students are in touch. And so we'll see what we can do quickly. Ukraine is a very large area. The students are spread all over. Those who can move quickly are moving, have moved and are moving. Those who cannot, because the situation is dangerous, they should wait. I know that the issue now is going to be daily supplies, food, and so on. That's going to be difficult because of the situation in which that country finds itself. But we will find ways out. And it is for that reason that I believe you were asked to register when you came, so that if there are any real issues, we can have the names and then see how best we can reach these students. Reverend Lawrence Tete, you are in the thick of things, and so I know you know what you are talking about. God bless you. And we have thanked, in my interaction with the media on Sunday, we thanked the government of Ukraine, the government of Poland, the government of Romania for what they are doing. And I know that a lot that is happening in Ukraine is through your pushing them to help us. So thank you very much. And his advice is important. Our students should not, at this point, it's about, survival. This is not the time to go associating with other nationals. In any case, the other nationals, they don't carry Ghanaian passports. It's only those who carry Ghanaian passports that we will bring back. If you don't have a passport, we will not bring you back, because it means that you probably have thrown your passport away or whatever, and we are not going to bring you back. Unless your parents can vouch, unless you yourself can show evidence that you are Ghanaian. Students who have relatives in Europe, that our mandate is limited, is to bring them back, because this is where we control. We don't control visas that will be given by other countries. We have nothing to do with other countries giving them visas to enter. It has absolutely nothing to do with us, because we don't have the locus to ask any country to give any student a visa. This is where we have control and visas. And so we'll bring them back home if they so wish. Those who do not wish to come back home will be at some point on their own. Thank you.
This is where we draw the curtains for today's episode of Diplomatic Affairs. We came to you from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integrations. My name is Harriet Nartey.